Hi guys, let's talk about commitment issues today, shall we? So I have suffered with commitment issues for as long as I can remember, and I'm not only talking about relationships, I'm talking about everything like jobs, education, hobbies, friendships, traveling, living, homes. So I wanted to talk about it and go through the areas of life where it can cause you trouble and tell you a little bit about how I tried and am still trying to overcome this. I think that in my case, this commitment issues are part of my borderline personality disorder because I was always very extreme in my likes and dislikes. So I'm the kind of a person who will listen to a song that you like until your ears bleed, and I would wear the clothes that I like until I throw up, and I'm like this with everything: food, people, whatever. As well, when it comes to relationships, I get really easily attached to people, and it hurt me so much in my life that I think that I try to avoid it as much as I can, and I try not to commit or attach to other people because I know that nothing is forever, and so it is a way of me trying to protect myself from being hurt, I guess. So I was researching this topic recently, and I decided that it's a good topic to talk about because a lot of people suffer with it, apparently. And so in relationships, usually commitment issues are a product of a traumatic childhood or some sort of traumatic romantic experience, like you might have been cheated on, or someone left you without any notice and you just didn't understand what happened, or maybe divorce of your parents, or maybe you have seen other people suffer in relationships and this kind of turned you off it. I made a video before on attachment styles, and today I found some really cool explanations for it. So a little side note, there are 3 attachment styles that are formed in the early childhood. Fearful avoidant, which basically thinks I want a committed relationship, but I'm afraid to get hurt. Then there is dismissive avoidant, which says I don't need you and I don't need you to need me or be attached to me. And then there is anxious preoccupied, which says I want to be close to you, but I'm not sure that you want to be close to me. And if you have one of those, especially dismissive avoidant, I guess you probably were brought up in not a very emotionally healthy environment, and your emotions were not really validated throughout your childhood, or maybe you suffered some kind of traumatic event. So you develop this strategy of protecting yourself, which basically means that you only rely on yourself and you don't want to be close or rely on other people. And I totally have some of that. I used to have legit panic attacks when I thought that one day I would need to get married or have kids, and I used to get really panicky when I thought about it because I didn't imagine, like I couldn't imagine committing even for like a year. And even in my relationships, I would never call like my boyfriend. I was already living with my boyfriend at the time, and I would still say like, no, we are not in a relationship, like we have a live together, but no, we are like not together. So even admitting that I might depend on someone or that I might love someone, be with someone, was another thing. Is that somehow I really get tired of people because, as I said, I get overly attached and I don't want to show that, but I get just really emotionally drained in the beginning of every relationship because I want to be with that person all the time, but I know that it's not normal, so I would never like do that or ask for that. So I kind of understand what the social norm is, and I will not bother the person as much as I want to bother them, but it takes a lot of self-restraint and a lot of attempts of self-control on my side. So it makes me really drained, and I don't feel that good because of that, and I know that this is my problem, but I start sort of blaming the other person in my head for causing me such distress, although it is my problem and my problem only again. And this is another thing why I don't want to get attached to people, because situation change, people grow apart, people change as well, and you are not always going to have someone that you are used to next to you. And I was really scared of that before. I'm way better at this now. I even think that maybe one day in the distant future I might even create a family of my own or something. Not anytime soon for sure, but I think that it is fixable. If you have this kind of problems, definitely you would benefit from therapy, or maybe you want to just think about what scares you exactly, like what makes you think that relationships are scary, that commitment is scary. Maybe just do what scares you. Try a committed relationship, try to make it work. See it as a game, see it as a computer game that you need to go through and do all the things that you need to do in order for it to work, and maybe you will like it, and even maybe you will want to stay in this game and continue playing it. So another thing that I used to suffer from a lot is inconsistency with hobbies and jobs and education and stuff. Don't get me wrong, I got my master's degree in 5 years, as everybody does. I honestly hated the place where I studied because I studied chemistry. I was not really that interested in it, so of course I had my doubts if I chose the right path or not. I grew into it eventually. I started liking chemistry. Now I find it very interesting. I'm doing a PhD in it, but I always wanted to do different things, and these things changed so quickly that I decided to stay even in the place that I didn't even like, but I knew that maybe I will go to the next place and I won't like it either, so I decided to stay safe. And I think that it was the right decision for me, because yes, it was painful, yes, it was not very nice, but at least I have, you know, a proper education and I can get a proper job later on in life. Although I would not maybe advise it to other people, because it's only my story and my certain situation. So maybe for other people it's better to follow their dream if they are exactly sure about what they want to do, because I just wasn't sure. Yeah, one other thing is that I cannot really stay in one place and live there for longer than, I don't know, a year or so. I get really bored of places, and maybe it is because I traveled so much and lived in so many places when I was a kid. I really used to think that I was born and raised by gypsies, and then my parents just found me somewhere on the street, because I crave moving and traveling all the time. It is distressing because, I mean, to form a stable family, relationship, job, whatever, you need to stay in one place and you need to be in the same city for at least a couple of years, which for me is kind of hard to do, but I also am getting better at that. So there are cities that I really love and I would love to stay there for longer, but you know, this year I moved 4 times, like 4 different countries, so yeah, I'm not really good at that yet. The last thing where this commitment issues showed up in my life was friendships. So I have a lot of friends that are from school or even earlier. I have people that I know for like 10 and over 10 years, but I really have problems keeping the friendship on the same level. I guess that it is normal. I mean, friends evolve in different directions. We grow apart from people as well, and so it's totally normal to have different groups of friends that change throughout time. But my problem is that when I have a group of friends in a new setting, it is really interesting for me to get to know people. I love to connect to new people, and I love to get to know as many new and different people as possible. But it is really hard to stay interested in a person for longer than a couple of months. So my mom reminds me of me saying like, I need new friends after I had like a certain group of friends for like 2 months, which sounds very shallow, but I actually have a lot of long-lasting friendships, but sometimes I can like draw myself from people that I love just because I am afraid to get tired of them, and I'm afraid of them getting tired of me, if that makes any sense. So I'm sorry for this video being so ranty, but I think that it would be impossible to explain what I wanted to explain without sharing my experience. So kind of what helped me with this, because I'm still improving, but I think I already got a little bit better at this, is to first of all try and form meaningful connections. Try to connect to people on a deeper level, because every one of us is a world full of wonders and a universe full of magic. So every person has so much to tell you and to teach you that no person is really boring. Everyone has a lot to share, and all of our stories are so different and so inspiring sometimes, that just try to get to know people on a deeper level and not on this shallow get to know me in 1 month kind of manner. I don't really have any advice on how to not want to move around so much, because I don't think that it's necessarily a bad thing. Just everyone is different, and so maybe it's just kind of your path to live in a country for a year and then move on to another country. If you're lucky enough to do that, I think that it enriches your life greatly, and it gives you a lot of perspective on the world and the life itself. As for relationships, I would say try to find a person who would make you want to commit. This is what helped me. And just try to figure out what scares you, because sometimes it's something really silly, and maybe you can talk it through with a therapist or a counselor, or even some of your friends, because maybe some of your friends or family members had the same issues. And I think that it's totally okay to have this fear of missing out or fear of commitment when you're young, because we live in a very fast and modern world where we have a lot of opportunities, and sometimes we really are afraid that we will miss something better, and we don't want to settle down because of that. But still, family is great, and I think that it's really cool to have people who are there for you through thick and thin. So you cannot get that without committing and being there for people when they need you. One just last thing that I wanted to throw out there is that I never wanted to hurt anyone, and it sounds like I'm this shallow person that just throws people around when I get tired of them, but I actually, well, I'm so empathetic and I'm so afraid to hurt other people that I would rather hurt myself than anyone else. So I never actually dumped anyone in a bad manner or something. So all of this that I described, it only causes distrust to me, I guess. And I am usually very good at being friendly to people that I am not even interested in anymore. I just thought that I would put it out there, because I don't want to seem like this shallow bitch that, you know, doesn't value human interaction, because I do. I love people and I love all of my friends, and I hope that it was in some way helpful. I know that it's all over the place, but yeah, I hope it helped. And thank you guys so much for watching my videos. I love you so much. Have a great weekend, and see you in the next video. Goodbye.